Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Calling All Devs. This week, with a lens that isn't like super macro on my face. Technology. I'm your host, content manager for global video production, Jared Huckabee. Now, if this is your first Calling All Devs, this is our new weekly Q&A series where we take questions submitted by you, the Star Citizen backer, voted on Spectrum by you, the Star Citizen backer, asked by me, the Star Citizen content manager, and posed to many of the developers who are working on Star Citizen. Star Citizen, Star Citizen, Star Citizen. Let's get started. Last week, we ended with Luke Presley out of our Foundry 42 UK office. This week, we are starting with Luke Presley because, sometimes, you guys ask the big design questions and, we go right to the top on this thing. So let's see what Luke's doing here. Luke, hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, Joe?
Good. Thank you for coming back on the show. You're our second two-timer. Todd is our first two-timer. You're our second two-timer.
Brilliant.
And counting these things will get tired real quick, so it's probably the last time I'm going to count them. All right, so we've got a question from the backers. They submit the questions, they vote on the questions. I pose them to you via Skype. Your question, the first one to open up our third episode here. When will we be able to play missions as a group in the persistent universe? The examples they give are shared objectives, shared cargo, etc., things like that.
Okay. Well, I guess...
Easy one, right out of the gate.
Yeah, sure. I guess first I want to say there are missions currently in there in 3.0 which you can play kind of co-op.
Absolutely.
Sadly, they're either not fun or some of them are even not even accessible due to the bugs that are on there at the moment.
Yeah.
But generally, in the short term, we are working on the back end for getting players to be able to transfer funds and make their own player created contracts, simple ones I'll give you an example. Distress, a distress emergency rescue kind of thing. You can kind of if you get lost, your car gets blown up, you can put out a distress, puts you as a little marker if people accept your mission, with a reward that you can set yourself. Another one example would be like a bounty mission. I don't like this guy, I'm going to put money on his head, and that's a mission that other players can accept.
This sounds like something Todd mentioned last week called the service beacon system.
Yeah, okay. That's the service beacon. So we are actively now working on the back end for that. So I'd say longer term though, if you want to play missions together, you'll be able to accept one player accepts a mission. Doesn't matter what mission it is. You can then share that with friends, or say he takes a mission that requires or says it requires 2 people, but maybe it says it usually needs about 4 people, right? Mm-hmm. So you can just get your best mate to come and help you out, and if you two are great pilots, say, and you're gonna really easily win this mission, and just take a bigger cut than if you were to play it with 4 players. You can do that. Or if you've only got one friend, you could maybe, and you want 4 people because you're not that good.
That's me.
You can kind of re-advertise that on the job board, on the contract manager app, and let other players accept the other roles. And that what I like about that is it leaves all the management up to the player, because right now the missions that we have in there that are co-op, we have these kind of arbitrary timers on there, and the timer is there just to say, okay, these other 2 people have accepted the mission, but they haven't shown up at the mission start. We can't expect the people who are there to wait for much longer than this. So arbitrary timer, boom, they're gone, the mission starts. But obviously if it's left of a player, he can get tired, he can wait as long as he wants, he can get tired and just say, screw it, we're doing it, just us 2. And for me, that's a lot more freeing as a designer. I don't have to be so restrictive, but it's freeing for the player because it's all down to him then.
So this is This is a pretty interesting system. I imagine we're probably gonna go into more detail on service beacons and how those work in other shows and whatnot. But as far as if I can do a follow up here, playing missions as a group, I think one of the more maybe the more pressing part of that is as a group. What can we talk about as far as just the ability to group up in the persistent universe and go out and do things?
I can't talk much about that. It'd have
Okay.
to be a system designer. I know we have obviously the party system as it is. Just all that really does is get you into a game together, which is the start.
Exactly.
What being in a party will eventually mean is that, like, you kind of, if anyone attacks anyone in your party, you're able to fight back legally, kind of thing. Or
Right.
there's certain friendly fire rules at play in there. I can't really expand upon that. I'm not the right guy.
No, that's great though. We get to showcase that off. That's how my job works. I call one guy and I end up asking him a question that's on him, and then we point out others. So maybe we can encourage some citizens to ask more questions about the group system, and then they can vote it up, and then I can go track down the person that I should talk to.
Actually, I should add, because he does ask a question about cargo, right? Like sharing cargo. I'm not sure. Again, probably not the right person to speak about this, but I know that I just overhear things. There will be the ability to kind of change ownership of cargo, whether that's permanently, here, this is your cargo, or like, you have a right to transport my cargo, but I am still the owner of that cargo. That way,
Right.
if it's been stolen, that, like, hang on a minute, you're neither the owner or the guy able to transport this.
Gotcha. So maybe we can also encourage people to submit that question individually. There's a reason we have the rules on there. Only one question, folks. When you do, like, here's a second question, here's a follow-up question, just a single question, and vote those up and things, so I can separate them and get to the right people. Luke, thank you so much for your time. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No,
We good?
You look great. Great beard.
Oh, thank you.
Why are you hiding the hair?
It's early in the morning and I didn't want to comb my hair. I wake up really early to do these. You guys are like 9 hours in the future, and it sucks. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
All right,
See ya.
All right, so Luke Presley, one of my favorite people out of Manchester, United Kingdom. Coming up next here, I've got a question. It's not one that comes up a whole lot, but you guys voted it up, and it is interesting. It's one of the things I've wondered about. Has to do with the medical side of gameplay. So we are calling one of our gameplay designers, Dan Truffin, out of Foundry 42 Frankfurt. Let's see if hey, Dan, how you doing, man?
Hey, Jared. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thank you for picking up. Welcome to Calling All Devs.
Oh, nice to be here.
All right. So this is that new show I told you about. It's still new to a lot of folks. People watching are getting tired of me introducing it, but it's part of the process, guys. I've got a question here submitted by backers, voted on by backers, and when I was talking to others, they said you're the person I should come to with this. So we'll see how well we do. Your question today is, what can you tell us about the medical side of gameplay and how it will work in Star Citizen? Examples they give are treating injuries, illness, radiations, and how immersive do we intend to get with this?
So regarding the medical part, we see this split into two major parts. It's the field medic, which is what do you do there on the spot if you just got a wound, you got hit, your health is low, stuff like this. Mm-hmm. And there will be different, let's call them stim packs, which will refill your health, will replenish your whatever. Let's say you have minor radiation sickness, and you'd have a stim pack that will solve that for the moment. What happens over time, you will get so much damage that there will be long-term effects.
Okay.
And the heavier they become, you will start being forced to find a proper medical facility. Your field equipment will not be enough for what you need. And this is where we'll have these facilities in every major landing zone. You will have to go there, you'll have to talk to the personnel and get yourself treated properly. There will be several machines that they'll put you through to find out what's wrong, and it will have a cost. It will take some time to get you healed. But for example, if I'll give you an example, if you
Sure.
have multiple leg injuries, eventually you might get a fracture. You will
Okay.
not be fixing your bones by stitching them together. You have to limp all the way till you get to the hospital. You might require some friends to take you there, because otherwise walking there is going to be painful. But you do get there, and then you will have to get yourself fixed. It will take, as I said, resources, time from that. Regarding the level of immersion for this, when it comes to the medical facility, as a first release, it'll probably be fairly minimal, where let's say you go there, you talk to the doctor, they go, yeah, you're fixed now, and fade to black, and you're back in again with the proper leg now, the fracture's fixed. But eventually, as time progresses, we would like to make this more immersive, where you actually see yourself going into the MRI scanner and you try to figure out what's wrong with you. Again, we're planning a lot of long-term diseases and problems that you can have from visiting all kind of environments where there's hazardous environments. The easiest one is space. You get the compression sickness. That you will not be able to just have an injection and it gets fixed. You'll have to go there. Right. There's radiation. There's broken bones. There's fracture. Yeah, all these things. There's a ton of them that we can play with and create interesting gameplay. Each of them will have different effects on how your character behaves. Either they blur your vision, they distort stuff that you see, and they affect how you walk. They affect whether you can carry a two-handed gun. So all of these, you will have to get them taken care of. Otherwise, your character will be pretty.
Gotcha. As far as medical gameplay, this all sounds like it's obviously still pretty early days and whatnot. And like most Star Citizen game systems, the first version we roll out will be limited, and we will continue to iterate on it. What can you tell us about any gameplay for players who may want to be medics? Is that a possibility?
This will be a possibility, but how in depth we make this still hasn't been decided. Okay. So we want players to have the ability to help others. Definitely, we want a guy to specialize in just not carrying all the biggest guns, but he's the guy that when something happens to you, he's the guy that gets you out of trouble. Gotcha. So we definitely want to have that type of gameplay, but to what extent, it's still too early to tell.
Fair enough. We had a lot of Cutlass Red and Endeavor owners out there who are looking forward to those days. So something to look forward to. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on successfully surviving your very first Calling All Devs. I have a feeling this won't be the last time we talk about this.
Most probably.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Thank you so much, Dan, at a Foundry 42 DE. You always get the UK and the DEs confused. Our next call is for a very good friend of mine and a X-Wing miniatures connoisseur, if I do say so myself. He actually plays in tournaments. So I don't. I'm a scrub. He's a better guy. We're giving a call to Will Maiden here and see. Hey, Will Maiden. How you doing, man?
Hello. How's it going?
Good. What time is it over there now?
It's just gone 5.
That's right.
Getting a bit dark.
Yeah, no, it's my day's going. It's actually like everybody else is starting to come in now. It's like, all right. So this is Calling All Devs. It's our brand new show. I told you about it. Have you seen the show?
I've seen Todd whammy with his glasses. It's great.
All right. I'm actually learning how to paper mache because Todd gave me a challenge.
Oh, the belts, yeah. We're all very excited that you're going to deliver on that cast iron Jared Huckabee promise.
Yeah, well, I do keep my word as the last like 8 months of beard.
Oh yeah,
no.
You're the least hirsute person on this call now.
No kidding. All right, so I've got a question for you. It's from the backers. It's voted on the backers, and I think you're the guy for this. And if you're not the guy for this, you are the guy for this today. So congratulations. Okay. The question is, will MFD, or multifunction display, will MFD information be exportable to smart devices like tablets, phones, touchscreen monitors, etc.? And will we allow some control of our ship from these devices?
That's a tricky one. I think the experience at the moment is that we're trying to push is to make the cockpit more accessible,
Mhm.
We're pushing a lot more stuff onto MFD. We're kind of moving away from AR stuff and actually making those screens useful. So I think, as of right now, I think the focus is definitely on making those make more sense, be more accessible. That's really where our attention is in terms of the cockpit. That's not to say that we wouldn't get round to it further down the line, but as of right now, making sure that everyone can use these better, that's really our number one goal. So never say never, but it's not in the near future for us on this.
Okay, yeah, we've had this conversation, not just you and I, but a couple other designers in the past. It'd be interesting and it'd be nice. I know a lot of the big, more dedicated flight sim, folks out there. They build their custom cockpits with the panels from SciTech and stuff like that. That stuff is cool. And I'm absolutely certain. It would be something that Chris would be interested in, but we have to prioritize these things, and right now and for the foreseeable future, our work is definitely on the cockpit experience, because it's better than it was, but it's still not where we want it to be. So that's where our focus has to be, on the stuff that affects everybody.
Yeah,
that wants to play the
totally.
game.
And I'm sure once we reach certain points, we'll be going back and looking at what can we do more of, what can we streamline.
Exactly.
So it'll be a constant process, but
Gotcha.
as of right now, let's get this.
Something we'll consider down the road, but no commitments. At this point, it's too early to commit to it. Is basically what we're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Did you get the new X-wings?
I've just got the new assault gunboats. I'm very excited for.
Nice. I haven't played with them yet. Actually, I've ordered mine. They arrived from Amazon, but I haven't opened mine yet.
Have you tried the new bomber? The new bomber is delicious.
No, I haven't tried. I suck at bomb gameplay.
They've made it so much nicer. There's one, and it's like if you get blown up by your own bombs, you kind of roll a dice and you may not get hit. It's really, so you can just plant them anywhere.
All right. Well, right now we're talking about another game on our game show, so we're gonna wrap that up. But I'll call you back. I'll call you back. We'll talk.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, man. Bye. Yeah. All right, so thank you, Will Maiden. Our next question is a ship question. We have a whole show for ships, but I am calling a ship producer at a Foundry 42 UK, Luke Davis. We'll see if he picks up where I go. Hey, Luke! Luke, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, how can I help you? I'm quite busy at the moment, but any short questions you have?
All right, I'll make this quick then. When is the brand new Avenger making it into the PU?
We're currently aiming for it to be done by 3.2.
3.2.
Indeed.
All right, that's all I needed, man. I'll let you get back to work.
Cheers, man. Bye.
Bye. All right, so Luke Davis, the guy that makes one of the many people who make our new version of ShipShape possible. Most of my calls to Luke Davis are like, where is this ship, and where is this ship, and why isn't this ship moving fast, and what do I need to say? So, thank you so much, Luke, for your first appearance here on Calling All Devs. For our final question of the show here, we are going to the Great White North for a question for our friends. I was trying to think of another Canadian euphemism, but I don't have one. I only have the one. Benoit, how you doing, man?
Hey, man. What's going on?
Not much. What's a Canadian euphemism besides Great White North?
Good. I don't know. Above the wall?
Above the wall. Our friends above the wall. Benoit Beauséjour, one of the few names I've actually practiced at pronouncing. What's your title at Turbulent?
I'm the CTO, also a part owner, so...
Oh, yeah. See,
Yeah.
Look how powerful Disco is. I can just call and get the owner of companies on the phone. So this is that thing, Benoit. Calling All Devs. I told you about. We're going to give you a call and take questions that have been sent by our backers and voted on our backers and post them directly to the people who are most appropriate for these.
Sure.
So you ready for your question?
I'm ready.
All right. Your question. This is a big one. This is an all-timer here,
all right,
and I'm one of the things that's so good about Calling All Devs is that we get to do this now. Your question: are we ever going to be able to melt? That's exchange for store credit or UEC items that we've purchased on the Voyager Direct store.
Well, that's a really great question, and the timing couldn't be better. But yeah, I don't know how you do that, but it's of actuality. So the So the backlog out of this is that for those who don't know about that, there's a store that you can access to purchase items with your UEC, and that will basically load up your inventory, right? And make sure that you can actually access these items in game. So this is a really old piece of tech that we've built, early during the pledge after the pledge campaign actually finished, first year, and so. People have items from Voyager Direct. So to answer your question, our plan is to basically move on from that system. So we want to deprecate the Voyager Direct web store to move to an in-game equivalent that is more dynamic, that is tied to the universe, tied to the economy. And so we're currently exploring this. We have a high-level plan that we're looking into. So take this with caveats. But we want to deprecate this. So in order to do that, we will. Most likely give you guys the choice of melting back your Voyager Direct items for UEC, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you so choose to do that. For items that you want to keep, you'll probably be able to keep that. We're still investigating exactly if we're going to do a blanket, reload. That's still being talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So because there are items in there that are no longer available, and so we need to figure out what we're going to do with that. This might cause issues for other items, but the goal is to basically give you back your UEC, and that counts as a cap. So for this to come online, we also need to be seeding your AUEC wallet from your total UEC. So since the game is still in the state where we wipe persistence, to reset the system to try it out.
Exactly.
So when a new patch comes out, so like when 3.0 came out, we wiped the persistence database to restart the wallets and everything like that. So instead of giving you a fixed, right now we're working with a constant amount, we're going to give you your amount of UEC in the universe. This will allow game designers to see the economy in motion with real, UEC values in AUEC. And so as you spend your AUEC, this will stay in game. This will not affect your platform side UEC cap, right? Now, if you purchase UEC in the meantime using real money on the web store, this will actually credit you AUEC in game, right? If a new patch comes in, 3.2, we wipe the persistence database again because we're testing the system. Your AUEC wallet will be initialized to your total UEC value at that moment. And so we keep on rolling like this. The goal is to basically migrate this entire system in game and provide you the equivalent in game.
Gotcha.
So that's the goal.
All right, so if I understand, just let me clarify here. We are planning on getting rid of the Voyager Direct store on the website.
Correct.
We are planning on giving, on converting whatever Voyager Direct items that people don't want into UEC, the real UEC, the core UEC that will be used in the persistent universe.
That's right.
We are still exploring whether we're going to do a blanket wipe of everything, whether we're going to give people the choice on which items they want to get rid of, or some mix thereof between the items that can be used and the items that just can't be used anymore. We're still exploring how best to work that, but the plan is to give the people the UEC back for that stuff.
That's right.
Then we're going to move the store inside the game, and people will be able to spend alpha UEC to buy those things right now until such time that we actually convert over to real UEC.
That's right.
And then because AUEC is the temporary thing that can be wiped at any time, that any patch can come in and just nuke your AUEC back to zero, we are planning to make the base starting point of a person's AUEC the equivalent of whatever actual UEC, persistent universe UEC on their account is.
Yeah. One thing that I want to add to your explanation too that I didn't mention is that we also want to start supplementing that value with the value contained in your pledge packages. So the famous starting money UEC.
The 2000 UEC.
That's right. That is like stash right now in the packages. We want to start accounting for that in our calculations to start this up. The goal here is to get the economy started with real values instead of like a blanket fixed value for everybody.
All right, awesome. Well, I could kiss you if you were only closer. All right. Well, thank you so much, Benoit.
I feel good being above the wall right now.
Above the wall. How you doing otherwise?
Very good. Very good. A lot of work, too many things at the same time, but we're crunching through it, so that's good.
You get any new Pez dispensers?
Oh yeah. This is the thing at Turbulent that I do is that when people do good stuff, I have a collection of Pez dispensers from Sci-Fi series that I put on their desk if they so do some good stuff. So I hereby award you my new one. which is a solo
Nice.
Starfleet one, right?
It's veteran Han.
Right. And then if we do get all of this cleared up, I can award you data. Just the all coveted data. Nobody's won this one like this.
I know you've had that on your desk for a long, long time.
I know. And so, yeah.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Benoit.
It's all good. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right,
Bye. All right. Thank you so much, Benoit. With that wraps up this week's Calling All Devs. I think it was a pretty good one. Special thanks to Luke Presley, Dan Truffin, Benoit Beausejour, Will Maiden, and even Luke Davis, who is very, 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 very busy as our main ship producer at Foundry 42, as you can see. So tune in next week, guys. We'll be back with more questions. Remember that you can submit your questions on Spectrum. Submitting is only one half of your responsibility in this process. The other responsibility, the other half, is you voting on which questions get answered each and every week. So do your part. I'll do my part. We'll all do our parts. I'll see you next week, everybody.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in the Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.